Are you ready?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ringside Rundown. Today we got a special video for you. We're going to do an Extreme Rules podcast based on my predictions. I do understand that Raw and SmackDown this week could determine some stipulations, but we'll kind of see about that. I do not have any high hopes that there will be much this week. So what I'm going to do is kind of go over the card, see what it looks like, see the matches. Like I said, we only have 2 stipulations so far, so hopefully on Raw and SmackDown, maybe we will get some more. So I'll go through the matches now, and then I'll go through my predictions, kind of one by one. We'll see how things have been building and kind of go from there. This is in no order. I don't really know the order yet. We'll see how it goes. On the past few pay-per-views, WWE has done okay with the order, but sometimes they do ruin it with the order, which I think they will with this one. I do expect another Roman Reigns main event, so we will see. So first, we'll go with Finn Balor and Baron Corbin. This match has not had too much build to it, to be honest. We're really looking at a lot of Twitter things and things going up on social media between Baron Corbin and Finn Balor. The past couple weeks on Raw, Finn Balor was in the backstage with Braun Strowman, and Baron Corbin has kind of been lurking about ever since being named Constable to Raw by Stephanie McMahon. And Finn Balor this past week, him and Baron Corbin, the feud kind of keeps going on and on, but it's not too heavy in terms of really build. So I think that's something that we need to take a look at into this match. That they even made it a match, I'm kind of surprised. There's no stipulation here. I don't know if that will change. I think that's something to look forward to on Raw, and we'll kind of see. I do think Baron Corbin will go over here. I think being named Constable, I think Baron Corbin's in for a push. So I think that's something that will happen in this match. And I don't think it necessarily won't be clean, but there's potential it could be a not clean outcome. So we'll see about that. So I got Baron Corbin going over Finn Balor. Next match listed here, Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the U.S. title. As most of you know, Shinsuke has been out with an injury with a dog bite. He's been out of action for a while, so he returned this past week on a house show. So he's been kind of cleared for this match. Besides the bill, Jeff Hardy has been doing U.S. Championship Open challenges the past few weeks. His first opponent was Eric Young from Sanity. And to be honest, that was kind of poor placement from them. They have not done much with Sanity since they brought them up. And to be honest, it's quite interesting that you have Jeff Hardy beat him and go over when Sanity's new up-and-coming talent from NXT, so they get buried as soon as they get in. We'll talk about what happens with them in the future, in a future video. But so Jeff Hardy went over. And then this past week it was The Miz. It wasn't a terrible match with The Miz, but these matches I think are kind of filler because Shinsuke has not been able to do any work in terms of build for this match. So he's done a few things here and there. When they initially started feuding on SmackDown, basically it was Shinsuke kind of answering the challenge of Jeff Hardy, which was supposed to be for the U.S. title. That first week on SmackDown. And then Shinsuke got hurt, so he's kind of been out of commission for that. And then he did a small bit just talking about Jeff Hardy and how he's kind of crazy and not up for the challenge that he's going to bring him, and he's going to take the U.S. title. So I'm not sure about this match. This one's kind of interesting to call. I think Shinsuke takes away the U.S. title here. I think there's a lot. I was surprised to not have Shinsuke be champ in terms of beating AJ Styles, but I think they give him the mid-card title and see what he can do with it, and then see if he can build off of that. I think that's something in the future that really, honestly, is something that they need to look at. Because in terms of in-ring talent, Shinsuke's got it, but in terms of mic skills, he's kind of progressing through that. So I think Shinsuke goes over. Jeff Hardy, I'm not sure what he does after this. Maybe gets in the title hunt in terms of it could be a longer feud. I'm not sure. So we'll see what happens with that. Next match on here, the Toledo Worlds versus the B Team. So Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt against the B Team. The feud for this and the build has been interesting. It's been really a playoff of pretty much what Broken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt have done. So the B Team have been going at it every week. They've earned some victories in terms of singles competition against Matt Hardy when Bray Wyatt got hurt in a car accident this past week. So he's been out for a little while. And they had another win against them as a tag team. So they got their opportunity to kind of show what they have been able to do. Although it has been pretty funny seeing the B Team kind of mimic the Leader of Worlds and what they do. I do think in order to build them, I think they kind of need their own thing, like the underdog team. It's something that, it's a very simple storyline, but these guys should have never been here. They were with The Miz. I think that's something to really play off of, and I think WWE kind of dropped the ball there in terms of being able to push the B Team. I don't think they're bad wrestlers. I don't think they have enough talent in terms of the other tag teams that are on Raw that are being underutilized, in my opinion, like Authors of Pain or The Revival. We just saw The Revival for 3 weeks in a row go against Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. They've really been at the bottom of the barrel in terms of where they're at in WWE. So I think here, I think the Broken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt keep the titles. And unfortunately, I think the B Team get buried, and they don't have another tag team title shot right now. So I think that's something to look out for in terms of where they go from here in terms of the Raw tag team division. With all the talent that they have and all the talent that they've brought up from NXT, they should really be putting on better matches than they are. And I think Jason Jordan coming back, I believe this week, if not this week, next week, could recreate American Alpha again. And I think that could be something to look out for in terms of being on Raw. But it's a tough thing. Both tag team divisions right now, they both have matches on here. I don't see them going in great directions right now. So I'm hoping the NXT Blood will be able to kind of revive the tag team division if they get their opportunity, because I think a lot of the tag teams just need the opportunity, and then they'll be able to show what they're capable of. Take a look at NXT TakeOver Chicago when you had Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. They got their opportunity, and that was one of the best tag team matches I think I've seen for a long time. If you haven't gotten a chance to take a look at that match, I would go watch it. If you think tag team wrestling is dead like I kind of did, it's something to really, really sink your teeth into. That whole takeover was amazing, but that match specifically, Undisputed Era, they are honestly just so over right now. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. They're supposed to be heels, and they were getting cheered, and the other guys, the underdog story, was getting booed. So I think that's something that NXT is just raising the bar. So I think, they just need a rejuvenation of the tag team division. The feuds are getting very sour. I think since the Usos, New Day, some of those really good feuds that we had, those are kind of going away. So I'm hoping that we'll see what happens with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, see where they go from here, and then kind of regroup and see where we're at, and maybe Authors of Pain or the Revival get a push now that they've been doing some stuff on Raw. Authors of Pain, we're in a couple matches these past couple of weeks on Raw, but they've been doing squash matches. They've pretty much been going against no-names and destroying them. So, I get it. You want to highlight how strong they are, and they're tough, and they're going to be really hard to beat. But also, they're against no-names, and they're just kind of filling spot on a 3-hour time slot. So I think getting them in substantial rivalries is really important moving forward. So I think that's something to take a look at, and to be able to really, honestly, put some good quality tag team competition out there. Next match, I guess we'll go right into the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the Bludgeon Brothers and Team Hell No. Yes, I said Team Hell No. Kane came back, reunited with Daniel Bryan, and basically they're challenging right away for the Tag Team Championships on SmackDown against the Bludgeon Brothers, who I don't like that very much. I don't think the Bludgeon Brothers are that great as champs. They've had a couple month run, so I think that's kind of their time, and I think that will happen right away. I'll kind of be very quick about this match, but I think Team Hell No goes over. I think a lot of this has to do with keeping Daniel Bryan at some point. I think that in September, Daniel Bryan has a potential to leave. So I think they're trying to kind of work around his contract and see what can happen. If he can get signed and move forward, they'll probably put him in more singles matches and potentially have him go for the championship, but I do not see that happening. I'm not sure, though. I think Daniel Bryan, he did an interview recently. Even he knows that WWE's booking decisions and things like that have gone way down from even the last time he was there. And coming back, they have not done anything better with him. And he's one of the top guys on SmackDown. They really have only a few top guys, and to take him out of basically the championship picture and pretty much put him with Kane in the tag team, it just doesn't make sense. So I think they go over. I hope it's not a long title run. I hope Daniel Bryan's maybe signed his contract and is able to go for a legitimate title. And we'll see how it goes from there. So I'm not sure about this match, but I think it could be okay. But I think Team Hell No goes over, and that's kind of your match there. The next match, we'll do Carmella versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. James Ellsworth is back, came back at Money in the Bank to help out Carmella, and basically this is the rematch for Asuka. It's interesting because I think Carmella's run has been pretty good. You've been able to see, sometimes she gets really annoying with her mic skills and things like that. But in terms of wrestling, she hasn't done a bad job. And in terms of being with Asuka, I like that Ellsworth is back, kind of being the puppet master, and kind of confused Asuka at Money in the Bank. And I think that was obviously the big reason that Carmella won. But I'm interested to see when they give Asuka her big break. Obviously, many of us, in terms of the streak, we thought it was going to happen at WrestleMania against Charlotte, and that didn't happen. So I'm wondering if Asuka takes off the title off of Carmella. Oh, excuse me. And then pretty much goes from there. And I think you could see some interesting booking off of that for Asuka. And it's interesting because I think Becky Lynch has been putting together some wins, so I think she could be in the title hunt as well. So that's why a Carmella-Becky Lynch feud coming out of this could be, if Carmella retains, could be an opportunity to kind of explore as well. And then I think you kind of go from there. But I do think Asuka wins this match. I think she overcomes James Ellsworth and then also Carmella and becomes the SmackDown Women's Championship. And she takes it home for the first time. And then we'll go into the Raw Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. A rematch of WrestleMania. And so Alexa cashed in her Money in the Bank the same night she won the Money in the Bank briefcase at the pay-per-view. And basically she took out Rousey and Nia Jax, who were in the match. And so Rousey got kicked off TV the next night. She got suspended, for 30 days. And then pretty much from there, so Ronda's been out of the picture for the past 3 or 4 weeks on Raw. And she also said the other day that she will be at Extreme Rules. So it's an Extreme Rules match. It's one of the only ones with an actual stipulation. as of right now. I think Alexa retains. I do think Ronda Rousey gets involved a bit. I'm not sure what capacity that's going to be in, potentially either setting up a triple threat or just a one-on-one between her and Bliss at SummerSlam.
Are you ready?
I'm leaning more towards the triple threat match, just because I think having Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss in the match, there'll be some cool spots in terms of what Rousey is able to do. So I think Bliss retains and then goes into SummerSlam as champion, and then we'll kind of go from there in terms of what we expect from that match. But I think Bliss retains. And then the next match that pretty much goes on is going to be, I don't know, again, I don't know the order. Dolph Ziggler against Seth Rollins in a 30-minute Iron Man match for the Intercontinental Championship. I think their main event a few weeks ago on Raw was one of the better matches that we've seen in the past few months on a Raw. I think the Raw quality of matches have been pretty poor, but that match was honestly incredible. And I think this match will be probably the match of the night and will definitely be match of the night. I don't think there's really any questions about it. Seth Rollins has been extremely. It's been his past year or so. He's just been on fire, and I think his match quality and Dolph Ziggler, he can put on the show. I really do think. I mean, since WWE has brought him back, I was hoping they booked him correctly. Up until about 3 weeks ago when he won the IC title, that was not the case. They kind of just did what they normally do and just bury him. But he is a guy that can flat out wrestle. And him and Seth Rollins, they have great chemistry together. You can see it in the ring. And the quality of match that they have is fantastic. So I expect just constant action in this match. I don't believe Drew McIntyre will get involved, but I'm not sure. Potentially, for maybe a ref gets knocked out and then McIntyre kind of takes over and helps out with the last couple minutes of the match, and then Seth Rollins doesn't get beat clean. But I do think Ziggler retains his belt, and I think moving forward Ziggler can go in a feud, and Rollins should, like everybody knows this if you're a wrestling fan, he should be fighting for the title. We'll talk. We won't really talk too much about Brock Lesnar in this, but if you've seen anything about the UFC recently, he should be going back to UFC. Talks of him going against Daniel Cormier. Basically, it was confirmed because he got in the arena. He was in the arena for UFC on the past UFC event, 226, I believe, and he kind of got in the cage with Cormier and basically pushed him around, said he was coming for him. And so that kind of solidified for me that Lesnar's going to go back to UFC. And everybody talking about Lesnar not being at SummerSlam, I don't buy it. And if that does happen, or if Lesnar retains the championship, there's nothing the WWE needs more than for him to drop that belt so it can be defended at every pay-per-view. And I think the feuds that would come from that in terms of having the actual Universal Championship on Raw, you would be able to create so much more and quality. And when I say more, I mean quality type matches and feuds that would make people interested in Raw again instead of the same old boring crap that we see every Monday with the sour storylines, whichever's happening. So I think this match will definitely be match of the night by far, and we'll see what comes out of it. But I do think Ziggler retains there. The next match. So we have AJ Styles versus Rusev for the WWE title. Rusev won the gauntlet match to be number one contender. And then pretty much from there hasn't been too much actually with this build. So AJ Styles went to shake Rusev's hand the first week and hit Aiden English, and then the following week he had a match with Aiden English, won, and then kind of that was pretty much it. Rusev got on the mic and said a few things, but it has not been like the star built up feud, which I'm not surprised, as many of these matches kind of came to fruition. It was kind of, besides a few of them, not out of left field, but honestly they were just kind of throwaway matches in terms of what they what they pretty much got out of this. So I do not think there is a chance that Rusev Day, even no matter how over he is going to go over AJ Styles at this point. I think what they're really setting up for is an AJ Styles Samoa Joe feud that I could think they have a solid 3 matches over the next few pay-per-views and really, really have some great quality matches. And I think that's something that people should be looking forward to. AJ's been champ for a while, but honestly, he's the best in the biz right now, and throughout the world. I know some other people like Kenny Omega, and there's other people out there that obviously would really want to see in WWE go against each other. But AJ is pretty much the cream of the crop, best there is right now. So I think he stays that way, and he goes over Rusev. I think Rusev takes the loss. It's nice to see him in the title hunt, though. And I think it's cool to see him. I don't even think this will be the main event, as bad as it is. I'll talk about the next match. But I think Rusev in the main event, you don't even know what he can do yet. So I think if he can put on a great match with Styles, which shouldn't be that hard for most people, I think they have an opportunity with Rusev to keep him in the title hunt for a little while. Excuse me. And then the last match is the main event, and I think it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley for literally nothing. It's interesting that, and this is before Raw, so we need to kind of preface that maybe it'll turn into a number 1 contender match. There is no stipulation. As of right now, there's no number 1 contender match, which I think maybe they could make on Raw tomorrow. But that's pretty much it. So you have Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley in the main event. I don't even know what to say really about it. The feud has been awful in my opinion. I do not think Bobby Lashley has any mic skills, and his wrestling is just okay. Since he's been back in WWE, he's not done much. And the fans know this, and they're going to boo the hell out of this match, just like they normally do whenever Roman's in any main event or any match. And I don't think that'll ever change until Roman turns heel and just takes the crap from the fans. To be honest, I don't see anything for Roman looking up. If he gets the Universal Championship again, if he goes against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, wins, and something about Strowman, he doesn't cash in or something like that, and Roman just wins clean, people are just going to lose it, especially in New York where SummerSlam is. I just think people will lose it. So I think that's something to look out for, and unfortunately that's going to be the main event. I was reading today that Vince is pretty much set on Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley closing the show, which is amazing because usually it's supposed to be your best match and the one you're looking forward to the most, and then closing the show on a bang. And I don't think they will do that. I think it'll be an okay match, but the fans will not let that happen in terms of their appreciation of the match. I just think they'll just basically not be interested at all, and we'll move forward. My pick is Roman Reigns to go over and to win this match. And I do think that match, Roman Reigns versus Lesnar, will be a match at SummerSlam. I'm hoping that Strowman somehow either cashes in and says, I want to be in a triple threat match, or he basically cashes in that night and takes the title from Roman, and then we can get a champion that's actually over and can create some good feuds. And I'm just, Roman Reigns has been in the main event for every pay-per-view, it seems, for the past, 17 years. But it would just be something new and refreshing. I don't know why they keep throwing Roman Reigns down our throats, but unfortunately that's kind of how it is right now. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the predictions. I'll go through it one more time in terms of what I'm predicting. So I'm predicting Styles over Rusev, Alexa Bliss over Nia Jax, Asuka over Carmella, Team Hell No over the Bludgeon Brothers, the Leader of Worlds over B-Team, Dolph Ziggler over Rollins, Shinsuke over Jeff Hardy, Roman Reigns over Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin, I think, will come out on top over Finn Balor. So those are kind of my predictions. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to this video and this podcast, and be on the lookout this coming week. There'll be some other things coming out. All right, thanks. Catch you later, guys.
You know who you're talking to?